How is everybody doing? Thanks for tuning in. This is Burning Theta, the stock and options trading channel. As you can see, this is a brand new channel, and we don't really have anything on here yet except for a banner and a little channel icon. But here we are, and we're going to talk to you today about the indicators that I use, and I'll kind of go over a current trade that I've done that I'll be flipping this week for some mega bucks. But we'll just kind of go over, and I want to say that a lot of you guys are here. Feel free to hit the sub button somewhere over here. And a lot of you guys are here because you might be using Robinhood or WeBull or one of those trading platforms. You could be using TD or something like that, and want to start off with uh, the higher echelon trading platforms. But for the most part, everybody here is new. We don't have a whole lot of money to begin with, and we like cheap and free alternatives to make our trades. With that said, I can remember when I was a new trader, one of the biggest things, I didn't have Robinhood, I didn't have Webull or any of these freebie stock trading platforms. They just didn't exist. And one of the things that I struggled with for such a long time was the fact that we had to go out and find, all these other resources like Yahoo Finance, which I really want to bring to everybody's attention here because this is a very good website when it comes to the freebies. You've got decent screeners, okay charts. I'm not going to say it's the best thing ever. The one thing that I don't like about it is sometimes the charting is a little slower. As you can see, here's a perfect example of it. We're 2 minutes behind the strike price. That's not very good. You would never want to use this for live trading, in my opinion. But it is something that I'll use to make my swing trades, probably what most of you are going to be doing. So here we are at Yahoo Finance. We're going to go in, open up a chart. I'm going to show you what indicators I use and how I make my trades. You can see this stock is not doing well after hours. I bought 15 puts on this thing. Today's earnings, I'm going to just make an absolute killing. I'll make a video about it tomorrow. So we're going to really clean house on this stock here. In addition, this isn't trading advice. This is basically exposing my methods to trading. You can see I have a whole bunch of stuff going on here. What I'm going to do is remove all of this. And I'm going to go ahead and break this chart down to exactly what you're going to see when you open this up. It's going to look something like this. A line chart. If you're trading, making trades based off a simple line chart, you need to knock that habit off right away. You can lose a lot of money without using any indicators. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is set this chart up. And you want to keep this consistent with what you want to keep this consistent as far as the way you set things up, the way you read your charts and indicators, what's successful for you, all of that. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the candles. I will talk about candlestick patterns in another video, but they're there. There are plenty of great maybe tutorials, things of that nature on YouTube that will explain them. And second thing we're going to do is turn on the Bollinger Bands. Now, I'll run a 20 period 2 deviation Bollinger Band. And so what this is going to do is it's going to show me what the stock's doing. We'll get into that in a second. We'll go to moving average. I always have a 50-day running, and I always have about a 15-day running. Some people like a 20-50, but I like the 15 because then it doesn't interfere with the 20 mark period on the Bollinger Bands. So we have that. Another indicator I like to use, and this is in every trader's war chest, is an RSI indicator. I like a 14-day period because that's what I'm used to. I like a 70 for an overbought zone and a 30 for an oversold zone. So we'll talk about this more. And then I'll also bring on the MACD, and I'll set the fast moving average period for 12, the slow for 26, and the signal is at about 9. If you don't know what that stuff means, we'll learn about it later on. You can see I'll just kind of leave these alone. So the last thing I like to have up is the volume. There we go. Just a simple volume chart. Uh, we have green when the stock is being bought up, red when it's being sold. So that always sits right down here. And in addition to all of this, all of this stuff will kind of play off each other when it comes time to making decisions. As you can see, this is an earnings play that I made. I'm just going to go ahead and reset this. Just wanted to see if the see, like you can tell here, the chart here is slow compared to what time it actually is. So here we go. I want to talk a little bit about the Bollinger Bands, and actually this is a perfect perfect time for me to expose this to you. But Bollinger Bands, in case you didn't know, we're gonna zoom in to a 1-day, 5-day, 5 minutes. So Bollinger Bands basically tell you when the market is starting to open up. When the market or when it's starting to swing, I should say that, you'll see these Bollinger Bands come in nice and tight when the market is indecisive. And you'll see these candlesticks kind of go up and down and kind of push these Bollinger Bands outwards until the stock consolidates until the next round. You can typically tell when a big sell-off or something of that nature is going to happen, because what happens is these candlesticks actually come up and breach the bands of the Bollinger Band, and typically after that, big buys or big sells are typically going to happen. And so we have that for the Bollinger Bands. And I mentioned a little something about, I noticed that I messed up here. I always have my 15-day green. So what we have here is a 15-day moving average. This tells me the average price of a stock over a 15-day period. And the purple line is a 50. So we have kind of a longer term average being the 50 and a shorter term average being the 15. And so here we have that 10 spot Bollinger Band. I'm sorry, the 20. It's kind of just chilling right in the middle of those two. RSI is very important when it comes to making trades. If you're going to be swing trading, which I suspect a lot of you are, primarily because we don't have the typical amounts of funding when it comes to buying stocks. Once you get more established and build your portfolio, you'll maybe zero in on day trading a little bit more. But as far as a swing trade, month to month goes, that's probably what you'll be doing. I'm not telling you what to do, but we can say for a fact that the RSI is going to be a very important tool when you're making these decisions, especially on a month-to-month basis. If we can find a healthy upward trending stock and we can find RSI that's been oversold, we'll see these sections of the RSI chart filled in, and what that does is it lets you know that, hey, this is being way oversold. There's probably going to be a correction coming very soon. And sure enough, you can see what happens. And then, boom, we hit an upper band RSI level, and the same thing happens. Looks like there was a little bit of a drawback, but the thing kept pumping. So it's a very good indicator tool uh, when it comes to determining the direction of a stock, especially in the coming months. That's very important if you're holding a little bit longer. Um, Another thing we'll kind of talk about here is the MACD. I'm not going to get into this a heck of a whole lot, but what it does is provides us with some real-time volume information. What you're looking for here is the separation of these two bands. Typically, when these bands cross, directional change happens when as far as a stock is concerned. So a lot of traders will sit here and wait for this to turn sharply into each other. Volume is a must. We want to see what kind of volume we're looking at on a daily basis. It's easy enough to find the averages, and you can see if a stock's being pumped more and more going up to earnings. That might be a good indicator that there's some positive outlook ahead. So this is how I set up my chart, and this is what I use primarily to trade. So why don't you go ahead and get your chart set up. And what I'm going to do is create another video here on a move I just made in the options market, which is I don't want to count the chicken before before they hatch, but this is very promising at the moment. So feel free to go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button if this helped you. We're set up on a chart now, and what I want you to go ahead and do is just pick up any old ticker and just go ahead and look at when the stock was up high. What did these indicators do? It really helps to educate yourself on what exactly is happening to a stock when these indicators start sensing market movement. So anyways, burning theta out. I'm going to create another video on an options play that I just made today on 5/21. It was an earnings options play. And we'll go ahead and talk about what happened in the video tomorrow that I put out. So I'll link in the description to the options play, and then we'll check in tomorrow and see how things worked out.